Video number 251, metric to standard and standard to metric. We're going to be doing conversions. Basically, we're crossing over two different languages, which is why the conversions are not going to work out perfectly. Anybody that speaks two languages knows that there's several words, in fact many words, most of them, do not really translate perfectly over from one language to another. So that's basically why we're going to be using the approximation symbol, because there isn't exactly 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. It's very close to that, but you do have to round off at some point. In fact, most people would just say it's roughly 2.5 centimeters in 1 inch. Then likewise, over here on the right side, I have indicated that you could also think about it differently. You can think about, well, 1 centimeter is roughly 4/10 of an inch, which is basically the same thing. If you think about it, 2.5 is, 2.5 centimeters is 1 inch. Well, you can fit 4 2.5s inside of 10. So that's why it's 40%. You can kind of think about these things a little bit differently, converting from one to another. This one's actually kind of interesting. 1 mile equals 1.61 kilometers, and then 1 kilometer is about 60% of a mile. What's interesting about that actually is that's the golden ratio. I actually just noticed that here now. Not sure why I didn't notice that before, but I guess these conversions are basically used amongst people that are out in the field, carpenters, people that are in various trades of construction and machinists and stuff like that. So those guys definitely know this one, but actually it's very interesting to convert from one to another. Now actually, if you look at this, one thing to think about is what's larger, a mile or a kilometer? Well, if it takes more than 1 kilometer to take up a mile worth of distance, then we can obviously say that a mile is actually larger than a kilometer. Same thing here. We could say that obviously a meter is definitely larger than a foot, because it would take it takes only part of a meter to make up a foot. So we could say that a foot is roughly 30% of a meter. Here is some other conversions. We can convert a meter to a yard. So there are different various conversions we can use, and let's go ahead and get started. We have 4 questions I'm going to do here. I'm not going to go through every last conversion we had in the first page, and I can definitely email you these conversions if you'd like, or I can post them somewhere on the blog. Just let me know. Here are the 4 we're going to do in this video. We have how many miles is 17 kilometers, how many kilometers is 200 miles, and then we're going to convert kilometers to pounds and pounds to kilometers. So here we go. How many miles is 17 kilometers? Well, we start off by writing down 17 kilometers. You just write that down. Then you put an equal sign. Then we change kilometers to 0.62 miles. So then we just basically substitute 0.62 miles in for that 1 kilometer. We leave the 17 on the outside. Then you just simply multiply, and we're going to use the approximation symbol because, again, these are approximate conversions. So we end up with about 10.5 miles. Next one. How many kilometers is 200 miles? Well, again, you write down 200 miles. You substitute mile. You change it to the appropriate amount of kilometers, which is 1.61, and therefore we use the approximation symbol, just multiply across 322 kilometers. Now, one thing you can always do is just check your answer afterwards if you want. Make sure the answer makes sense. What's larger, miles or kilometers, and once you understand which one's larger, you'll be able to tell that it does take more kilometers to take up miles, because miles are larger. All right. 190 kilograms equals how many pounds? Well, you'll just substitute 2.2 pounds in for a kilogram. A kilogram is heavier than a pound, so therefore it takes up more pounds to equate to a kilogram. So we just multiply, you get about 414 pounds. Pounds has an abbreviation, LBS. Next one, how many kilograms is 500 pounds? So again, start off with the 500 pounds. Substitute about half a kilogram is 1 pound. And of course, that makes sense because it was about 2 pounds per kilogram. So you just multiply across and you're all set. So if you know the conversions, all you have to do is make the appropriate substitution and then multiply and you're in good shape.